You know, each week we take an important new work. Today, we're looking at a book called Übermensch, Contending Nietzsche, written by S.C. Sayles. This is a recent and, I'd say, very ambitious analysis aiming straight at the heart of Friedrich Nietzsche's philosophy and its ongoing impact, especially as viewed through a theological lens. Alright, first off, what's the core question this paper is wrestling with? Sayles is grappling with Nietzsche himself, really. The big question, if Nietzsche's ideas, things like the death of God, the will to power, master and slave morality, the Übermensch and eternal recurrence, form a kind of radical break in modern thought, how should we understand them? And not just understand them, but actually put them to the test. Is there a deeper way to critique or even answer Nietzsche, especially from a theological or metaphysical perspective? It's a huge question because, well, Nietzsche's name keeps popping up wherever people talk about the meaning crisis, loss of faith, or the very future of culture. If you've ever wondered about the source of phrases like God is dead, or seen references to nihilism in movies or books, this is the thinker at the root. Now, what makes Sayles' approach interesting? He doesn't just write about Nietzsche, you know. He tries to actually engage with him almost like he's sitting across the table, face to face. In fact, Sayles adopts Nietzsche's own style, you know, that punchy aphoristic, sometimes in-your-face way of writing, and then uses it to mount his critique. It's like fighting fire with fire, or maybe philosophizing with a hammer, as Nietzsche himself put it. But Sayles is wielding his own hammer. What are some key insights or takeaways here? Well, for starters, Sayles roots Nietzsche's philosophy in his biography. He says, look, you can't pull apart Nietzsche's ideas from his life, his upbringing, the trauma of losing his father as a child, his growing up in a Lutheran household. These things shaped what he wrote. Nietzsche isn't this abstract mind in a jar. His struggles, his shifting beliefs, even his heartbreaks, all bleed into those famous aphorisms. That's a powerful reminder, isn't it? That big ideas don't just fall from the sky, they're tangled up in real experience. I don't know about you, but whenever I read philosophy, I sometimes forget these were living, breathing, feeling people. But okay, moving to the methods. Sayles wants to contend, not just comment. The book pits Nietzsche's claims against theological ideas directly, so you've got that iconic God is dead moment, Sayles says. Let's put it side by side with the Christian belief in Christ's resurrection. It's not a neutral comparison, it's more like two gongs sounding at once and letting us as readers weigh the difference. He then brings in something called the logos-centered metaphysic, which, sounds intimidating, but basically Sayles is challenging Nietzsche's idea of existence as disorderly flux and substituting a vision of reality as something ordered, authored and meaningful. He gets technical here, talking about concepts like the information field, the second Shemay, and, the hieroglyphic stream of conscious perception. Wild stuff. Not everyone will buy it, but you get a sense of how deep this debate about reality can go. Sayles also tackles Nietzsche's will to power and all those famous distinctions, master-slave morality, the Übermensch, the eternal recurrence. One argument is that for Nietzsche, power is basically what drives everything. Truth, morality, even beauty, all serve this will to power. Sayles pits that against the theological idea of sovereignty, not power as sheer domination, but as purposeful, wise, merciful governance, and there are strong contrasts throughout. For instance, the Übermensch, or Overman, is Nietzsche's answer to the loss of transcendent meaning. But Sayles frames the Übermensch as almost a parody of Christ, offering transformation but no redemption. There's this recurrent theme. Nietzsche gives us a heroic alternative, but when pushed, it doesn't really answer that deeper ache. The paper also looks at how Nietzsche's legacy ripples into existentialism, deconstruction, and, even some misuses by politics. Sayles just warns that Nietzsche's ideas can be powerful but risky, especially when untethered from moral responsibility. At the end of the day, what does all this mean for you, the listener? Well, if you care about, say, how ideas shape culture, or about the big why driving history, or even if you're just curious about what's behind all these grand claims in philosophy, the book might help you see that these arguments matter.